Will President Trump grant Asia Bibi asylum in the US? Well, Rand Paul is certainly working on it. Rand Paul has said that he's spoken to President Donald Trump about securing asylum for Asia Bibi. She's the Christian woman who was on death row for 8 years, convicted for blasphemy and sentenced to death before her conviction was overturned in the Pakistani Supreme Court because of a lack of evidence. Politico reports, Paul told CNN he is worried that Bibi will be killed or convicted again if she remains in Pakistan. She was on death row for 8 years before her conviction was overturned last month. After Bibi was freed, the government negotiated with the rioters, agreeing not to let her leave the country and to allow a petition against the court's decision to move forward. They will probably convict her again, Paul said, and if she goes through all of that, she has already spent 8 years in prison on death row, which has to be a horrific experience. I'm worried that she won't survive. And he's right, isn't he? They probably will just convict her all over again, and if the state doesn't kill her, then the angry mob certainly will. The fact that the state is willing to give in to this mob, to allow this petition, and to agree to not even let her leave the country, to put her in danger, shows just how little the government really cares about this poor woman. But thankfully, Rand Paul reports that Trump appears sympathetic to the plight of Christians across the globe. And while Rand Paul said that he couldn't actually characterize the president's position on Asia Bibi right now, he thinks that their previous actions of helping an American pastor who was jailed in Turkey would make helping Asia Bibi consistent with their previous actions. So it looks like President Trump may well be getting involved and offering asylum for this poor woman, which is amazing news. And isn't it amazing, because the narrative is always that everyone on the right, everyone conservative, thinks that all refugees are rapists and we shouldn't help anybody and we're racists and fascists and blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Well, especially here in Europe, when we've got the Syrian refugee crisis, or the Syrian refugee crisis, we know these people aren't Syrian, and they're not refugees, they're economic migrants. Conservatives genuinely care about people. And when I see a woman like this suffering on death row for saying something negative, allegedly, about the Muslim God, I mean, it really saddens me, and I want this woman to be safe. The idea that the right, the conservatives, are the nasty racists is ludicrous. We don't want people to suffer. We're compassionate. And this woman certainly doesn't deserve to suffer. If anybody is deserving of asylum, it's Asia Bibi. And many countries in Europe have actually offered to take in Asia Bibi already, but the UK hasn't. Our politicians here in the UK have rejected Asia Bibi because they know that the same mob that threatens Asia in Pakistan threaten her here in the UK as well. We've been importing Pakistani extremists for decades. These Pakistani extremists form large populations within our great cities here in the UK, and they'll go out and do exactly the same thing that's happening in Pakistan. Now, of course, I'm not saying every Pakistani. I've never said that. What I'm saying is portions of these populations will go out and they will riot because she is blasphemous. She deserves it, right? Now, doesn't that tell you the fact that we have that same mob here in the UK that's putting Asia in danger in Pakistan? Doesn't that tell you that we've been letting in the worst of the worst for years? We're not letting in great architects and innovative artists and doctors. We're letting in literal extremists. So thank God for America potentially providing support for Asia Bibi here, and thank God for those other European countries that have offered her asylum already. Though if I were Asia Bibi, I would choose America. She'd certainly be much safer there, given the current state of the EU and our open borders. Meanwhile, the British government is capitulating to Pakistan and giving away over £460 million a year to Pakistan, despite this being a terrorist state. In fact, what makes this even crazier is that over 235,000 homes in Pakistan are receiving prepaid debit cards every 3 months that contain £34.50 of our tax money. This is essentially benefits, welfare, dole money to people who've never been to Britain and who've never paid into our system. And yet every 3 months they get free money to spend however they like. So I need your help. I want to pressure the British government to change their mind. About offering support for Asia Bibi. I'd rather they offered support for Asia Bibi and kicked out the people that threatened her. But I also want to tell our Minister for International Development, Penny Mordaunt, that it's time to stop foreign aid to Pakistan. So whether you're British or American, it really doesn't matter. You can help me pressure the British government. You can help me by signing our petition and putting pressure on the British government to stop giving foreign aid to this terrorist supporting state. Just like Trump has already done, by the way. Trump has already slashed $300 million in aid to Pakistan. It's time for us to do the same. So you can do two things to help me stop this injustice in the wake of this Asia Bibi case. First off, sign the petition at stopforeignaidtopakistan.com. Please go there, sign the petition, share it with all your friends. Let's get as many names as possible. And I'll hand this petition into Penny Mordaunt, our Minister for International Development. We're almost there, by the way. She said she wants to reform the foreign aid budget and the way in which we invest in these countries. So we're halfway there. If we pressure her, we can make real change. But secondly, if you chip into our fundraiser, I'll commission a public opinion poll that backs up what we're saying in this petition. We'll find out just how many people in Britain want to stop foreign aid to Pakistan. I'll submit that with the petition. It'll be really effective. And if we can raise enough money, I'll get a billboard. We've done it before with the Jay Langham campaign. It was brilliant. We embarrassed the politicians with this great billboard travelling around Westminster. We can do that all over again. And we'll do it to tell Penny Mordaunt that we want to stop foreign aid to Pakistan. Simple as that. Cut them off. We don't want any more deals. We don't want friendly talks. We want to cut them off. Period. So in the meantime, let's pray for Asia Bibi, and please help me get this campaign going, because it can really do a lot of good. It's time to cut off Pakistan from these millions of pounds of our tax money and put pressure on this country to control its radicals. We must stop Islamic terror and Islamic extremism. And we must protect people like Asia Bibi who are suffering every single day. Help me hold the Pakistani government to account and help me stop all foreign aid to this terrorist-supporting extremist state. Go to stopforeignaidtopakistan.com, sign the petition and chip into our campaign fund.